Got the fever now.
I'm about to be living in the woods. I'm gonna be working and hunting, and not a lot of not a lot of other things.
Dude, next week we're gonna call AJ and he's gonna be in the tree whispering to us, and he's gonna
Hey.
have like a headband on, like Rambo. He's gonna have
Hey,
war
let's be
paint
honest.
going on.
If you call me at I don't know, between the hours of what time is sunset, like 6:45. So if you call me between the hours of 4:30 and I'd probably answer at 4:30. But if you call me between the hours of 5:30 and 6:30, I ain't answering my phone because that's prime time.
Dude, he's gonna be out there just living out there. He's gonna have a little like shack set up around him, just leaving open spots for him to shoot his bow.
He's eating by campfire. At
Yeah,
night after the sun goes
the
down.
campfire's in the tree now.
Actually, I feel like campfire would probably keep deer away. I don't know anything about campfires.
I mean,
He's out there all night
I
with
could
like
for
night
sure
vision
just go back
goggles.
up to the house, but
Well, whatever, dude. I thought you were more hardcore.
I'm
than
just
that.
exaggerating it because you really want this deer. Dude, I want that deer, and I don't even deer hunt. I just saw that, and I was like, that's a battle of the century to take
and
that motherfucker down.
That was the first time, and it's not even October 10th yet, and he's showing himself in daylight. That's almost unheard of. A deer that old, usually you'll draw him out in the rut. Never this early. They're always nocturnal as shit. I don't have a picture of him on a trail cam. Nothing.
Really?
I don't know where he came from, but he's fucking huge.
How many points was on?
How many
that day?
times?
I think he's either a 9 or an 8, but he is big.
How many
He is
times have you
tall,
seen him?
And he is typical. This is my first time seeing him. I have another
What's
one.
tonight or today?
Today's the 6th.
When did you post it?
Yesterday.
Okay. I don't check dates on posts. I just look at them.
I just saw Snapchat. That's all.
I didn't even see a Snapchat.
I got a lot of
did I?
Snapchats of you hunting. I was like, is he gonna hunt or is he gonna take Snapchats all the time?
Taking Snapchats. Well, dude, I got in the stand a little early. It was like 3:30. Not shit goes on at 3:30. But I did bring my camera, so any deer that aren't in bow range,
They're in camera range.
they're in camera range.
Hey, I
It
mean, that's
works
being a
out.
hunter. Well,
I hope one day I'm an actual hunter instead of just a dude who owns a bow and arrow and a shotgun.
And sometimes, maybe once we'll go out. Dude, I tried getting you in.
No, I know. I'm not.
This
There's no
year.
blame on you. I've just been so busy.
You could be so obsessed with me right now.
I could.
You could be super stoked.
dude, I feel like I would
my
do this
business
if I
would go
had the
under.
time. Like I would love.
Dude,
Look at that.
legitimately looks like a horse.
Yeah, he does. Look how big he is compared to that little ass doe.
I
Look
know.
how thick that dude is.
And you got to think, too, he's behind her in that picture.
behind her.
So
that one
he should
that-
actually look
Oh, was
smaller.
this some sort of deer porno picture?
Yeah. It's all the
He's
perspective on
behind
the
her.
deer porno.
I don't know if anybody can see this. Probably
No.
won't
You can't see
focus.
it.
That's a-
No,
that's
it
a
just
big
looks like a
negative.
big light.
But
Negative.
yeah, check
Let's
out my
talk,
Facebook.
let's talk about bow hunting.
Okay.
How big do you think that deer was? Weight wise,
Weight wise,
just a rough.
he's in the 230s to 260s.
What's a normal average male buck?
I mean, it all depends with age.
Well, yeah, I know.
Regardless of the rack, they're going to carry the weight into their old age as long as they have the food source and the
Yeah.
ability to eat that food source. And what I mean by that is if they
They
still
don't
have
lose
their
their teeth.
Yes. So, they're going to carry that weight. A good, healthy deer before rut. See, that's key, too, because this guy's he's not going to lose any mass on his rack, obviously, but he is going to lose a ton of weight. Say I don't catch up with him until, I don't know, the third week in November. He's going to lose a good 20 pounds. Easy.
Yeah, he's
And why
fat
is
right
that?
now.
Because when the rut turns in, they're not.
He just wants to fuck.
Yes,
He's not even gonna eat.
they don't eat. I mean, they don't eat a lot. They
Right.
don't graze a lot. They're on the run. They're on the smell. They're trying to pick up a trail, and you'll see bucks shrink body wise, way down.
So they fuck now, so that in the spring they have their babies.
Correct. And that the babies will be viable enough to be self-sufficient enough to make it through the winter.
Well, yeah, you can't have a kid in the wild in the midst of winter. Like
Correct.
they won't survive.
Yes.
Yeah.
When is the rut? I mean, I'm sure it varies, but
It does vary. I mean, I've seen it come
obviously.
in.
No, they
I've
just
seen it
deer
come
fuck
in.
on a schedule. It's like, oh well, it's October 13th, guys. Let's pack
get
it
the
in.
fucking on.
You'll get some early does in heat. Usually the younger ones, they'll start coming in heat. Usually around the first week of October, or not October, November.
So are they just like, heat's
They're-
in the
It's
air.
time.
They're-
It's time.
Marvin Gaye starts playing in the background.
They're yeah.
Let's get it on. Just broadcast throughout the forest.
Well, that and
Let's get it on.
their sense of smell is like super heightened. But the males, their testosterone jumps way up this time of year too. So it's kind of it goes hand in hand. Like they
Did you
know it's
see
time
that-
to fuck. But
Did you see that video that Ryan Bland posted of that doe that walked past his
Yeah.
his stand that just stood there for a second? Like
Yeah.
she knew he was there, but she didn't know. She's like, something's up about this spot.
No, man. I mean, I have to disagree with that just because the amount of time I've spent just watching deer, they're just they're optimistically cautious always.
Okay.
Like there's
Well,
not a point in
that's coming
time-
from a guy who doesn't deer hunt.
That's
and is
from a
never
point.
around
There's
deer.
never a point in time where their guard is down without them having some sort of backup. So when they're by themselves, like it's the best to watch their ears. So you watch their ears, and if their ears are perked up and both of them are pointed in the same exact direction, and it's the same direction they're looking, that means they're fixated on something. Like they see an issue. Like, is that a potential danger? Right.
Okay.
But if you watch them, and I think even in Ryan's video, you should be able to see it. When she's walking, her ears act like satellites. So one's facing forward, the other one's rotated back, right? And she's looking, but then she goes down to eat, and then she's looking. But if you watch her ears, they're on a rotation, like a satellite, trying to pick anything up. So she hasn't picked anything up. She's just scanning. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
But if you see their ears both jet in the same direction and their eyes fixate on something, and then, so say she saw something out of the corner of her eye or heard something that she's heard in the past that was danger,
Yeah.
she'll fixate on that and wait. And they have the ability to just stand fucking still and wait. And wait. They will outweight you every time. So like if they see you draw back, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And you pull back and you stop. And she was like, not sure exactly what the fuck she saw. And she's looking, and she's looking at you, and she's just staring a hole through you. She can't tell what you are, and she doesn't know if you're dangerous.
Yeah.
But she's sure as
It's like
fuck gonna
Arnold
wait.
Schwarzenegger in Predator,
But
just
she's
looking
gonna
at
wait-
that fucking invisible predator up there in that tree. He's like, I see it, but I don't see it, but I fucking see it.
Yeah.
It's there. It's gonna fucking kill me.
And that's her thing. And
Yeah.
But they will freeze, and they will wait for you to fuck up.
Right.
And then they do this other cool thing. You can tell that you're waiting them out when they start. They'll pick their hooves up and they'll drop it down, trying to get you to flinch,
Something to move, make a noise.
trying to
for
get it
them
to
pick
move,
up
trying to
on
get it
it.
to make a noise, and so they can pick up on it. Because once you move, your entire outline gets exposed to them, and
just barely any movement.
right, and they're like, "Oh shit, got it, see ya." And so when you say, she may have seen him, Bland's got some stands that are high off the ground. And I think she was just scanning. That's just what they do. They're
Yeah.
super aware at all
That
times.
was just an observation from a dude that has never been
And you'll watch them when
deer
they're in
hunting. Well, I've been
groups.
once, but not like bow hunting. We just went shotgun hunting.
Yeah. And but if you watch them in groups, you'll watch one is feeding, two are watching. And then they'll
Rotate.
bob up and down for the most part. And they'll keep that ratio. And even the one on the ground, usually the other ones will look in opposite directions. But even the one on the ground, you can see them eating, but their ears doing this,
Yeah.
just rotating around. You should see the dexterity in their ears. They can go from all the way forward and literally turn 180 degrees back. Jesus. To try and pick up any type of irregularity in sound and then not to mention their sense of smell.
That's so crazy. Such a different aspect of like life.
Yeah.
Like, we're never hunted.
Right.
Since the beginning of time, deers have been prey. to
Yeah.
be hunted. So they're just so well adapted to just surviving.
Yeah.
They can't really fight. They can fight each other for like
Right.
dominance and
Unless you're
breeding.
a buck
but
and
Yeah,
then
I
you
mean-
can fight a little bit.
but they're not.
I mean,
they're
you
not
could,
terribly
like-
aggressive.
it's like a buck could like catch somebody. You know,
Oh,
like
yeah.
kind of like a UFC fight. Like this guy, like he just threw a good punch and he caught him. Like I feel like a buck could like catch somebody.
well, and it's
I
But
just
at the
caught
end of
that
the-
coyote right on the kisser.
At the end of the day, it's coyote 99, deer 1 in 100 matches.
right, and it's one of those
Yeah.
things where unless that buck is wounded or that buck is old as fuck, the coyotes aren't going after him. He doesn't have anything to worry about. Unless you're in bear country and you're a deer, but a deer around here, the biggest thing it has to fear is me and cars. And
Especially cars.
yes, and
And then what if it makes it to like old age and it just dies?
yeah,
Does that ever happen to a deer? Does a deer
100%
ever reach,
every year?
or does it just like slowly get so old that it can't defend itself from like a pack of coyotes and they just tear it to shreds?
Here's one of two. And it can be a combination of these things. But usually what's going to happen is he's going to, all of his molars and the stuff he used to grind the grass up or the grain up to make it more bioavailable for him, he's going to lose that ability. And he's going to be able to gnaw on grass with his front teeth. And he'll be able to break that up. And he'll eat that. But then when winter comes and that grass turns brown or it's covered in snow and it's cold as fuck and he hasn't been able to put on all the protein during the summer that he should have been able to,
Right.
he's going to freeze to death or he's going to starve to death, whichever comes first.
Yeah.
And then he'll be picked apart. Or he'll be so sick and weak walking around and he'll get picked apart. So it's either I'll make you die in a couple minutes.
And,
you, on the other hand, or you can go like starve to death, whatever. It's what a lot of people don't realize.
And AJ's gonna get me.
It doesn't
some,
end well. It never ends well.
AJ's gonna give me some deer jerky.
If you're lucky.
I feel like that's a sign that.
What if I pay for it?
You don't have to pay for it.
if there is
What if I trade tattoos for
Yes.
it? Dude, I've seriously had people tip me in deer meat from getting tattooed,
You
and I was
like
like,
that deer meat.
I'm all about that deer meat in my mouth, especially with the fucking cheese and the jalapeno stuffed in that shit.
Dude, it's so good.
Yeah. If
another-
anybody's listening that gets
another one of
tattooed by
them-
me, if you're a deer hunter, please bring me deer meat as a tip.
I wouldn't put
next
that
time
out
you
there.
get tattooed.
People are gonna be bringing like packs of sausages. Oh yeah, it's deer. They bought it for $3.95.
Yeah, I don't know about that. I've been checking
has
the
to be
labels
in
though. I've had it
legitimate
happen
freezer wrap.
twice,
Has to be in freezer
and
wrap.
I've checked the labels both times. I had deer hamburger.
I've
and
got a
then I
label
got-
printer. You want to?
I mean, Eric Scott-
tattoos.
Eric Scott gave me fucking
Okay, I'll
deer
vouch for that one.
jerky and deer salami, and it was fucking deer.
I'll vouch for that one.
Yeah, exactly. And the girl that I got the deer meat from was definitely deer meat. It was ground deer meat for making burgers out of. We made the best fucking burgers of the entire summer that fucking night.
The venison.
Venison. I'm
But what were
serious.
you gonna say, Jake?
I was gonna say if there's any way, if God or the Creator, if there's any way to know that He's team people as opposed to team deer, it's that they're fucking deer just eat until their teeth are just literally nubs and they can't eat anymore.
Yeah.
You don't really hear that happening to humans
Yeah.
so often. So
Well,
I
we
think
can do that, but
God's
we
team
take care of
people.
our teeth. Think about day in and day out.
There's a
even-
lot of Africans and stuff and people in third world countries who can't fucking take care.
You ever see
You
one of them
think-
black guys smile in the ads to donate money?
pearly whites.
First of all,
Pearly whites.
a black guy in the United States probably has immaculately white teeth. But like for real, you got people starving to death and don't have clean water. They're not brushing their teeth, and yet their fucking teeth aren't rubbed raw.
Okay.
Fluoride,
So
black
then they
helicopters.
fucking-
I mean, I agree. We're on another level. I mean, we're human and shit.
How shitty is it to be a deer? Maybe you last like 7 years avoiding coyotes.
Dude,
avoiding
What do you
Eight-
think about their life?
eight
What do you,
Then you
long
just
years.
starve.
what do you
or
think about their
freeze to
life?
death.
Do you think they enjoy their life, or do you think they really hate their life?
I think they're not self-aware. I don't think they give a shit either way. That is just a form of existence. They
Like,
were
deer
born
are
into it.
just an
It's not like
instinct of living.
It's not like you went through the Rolodex as a spirit and was like, human, black bear, grizzly bear, deer,
Whitetail.
whitetail. It's not like you spun a wheel going, human.
Fuck! Human. No whammies.
God damn it! I'm a food source.
No, that's a good point though, because think about it. You think about all the bullshit we think about because we don't have to worry about getting eaten or worry about food.
Well,
that is the two priorities.
Right, but what does
of
all that
their
stem
life.
from? But all that stems from is us being self-aware. A deer doesn't look at himself in the mirror and go, "God damn,
No, that's
you
the
sexy
comparison. Yeah,
motherfucker."
yeah, that's the comparison I'm making. Like, and even the bucks with the huge fucking antlers, they might be a little bit more confident to take on another buck.
I mean, but that's
I
only
think they do it-
biological. It's
Well,
only because
yeah.
they have a shitload more testosterone.
Yes,
and
exactly.
the ability to run a territory and an abundance of food to be able to grow that rack and to run his shit. But guess what? That shit lasts 3 years if you're lucky.
Yeah.
In your prime of being a deer. You spend one shitty year as a yearling. You spend another shitty year as a forkhorn or a spike buck. And then you spend the third year of your life branching out, little bigger antlers, little bigger body. You're right. Fourth year,
Yeah,
that's when you're a little competitive. You know, you're bulking up a little bit. You're probably a nice 8.
You're doing deadlifts and squats.
Yeah, like
Yeah.
you're training. You're training.
yeah, you're starting to fuck
You're-
the local poontang.
Right.
What the fuck?
Yeah. well, I mean, at 4, you fucking.
Yeah,
And
4, you passing that on. You adding to the
I
society.
mean, you might be catching some sloppy seconds because you didn't win a fight, but you know, you're getting it in. You know what I'm
You're
saying?
getting pickings and choosings.
But 5 rolls around. 5 rolls around, and you're huge. And
That's if you
at
make
that
it to
point,
5.
that's what I'm saying.
You know how
But-
happy I am to make it to 5 as a deer?
yes,
Oh, man. Well, in Australia, I feel pretty good.
dude, I want to be like a
Fucking
9-year-old
gunned
deer,
down by a goddamn helicopter. in Australia.
right? Just this. Could you imagine just sitting on the side of a mountain and all of a sudden you're like, in the distance, and you're like, what the fuck is that? Never heard that before.
Star Wars theme.
And then it's like really windy all of a sudden. You're
Wait, is
like,
that Star
what
Wars?
the fuck?
Oh, I didn't mean to do
You're like,
Star
why,
Wars.
Why is it so goddamn windy up here? It was a nice day about 30 seconds ago. Oh shit, that's a big ass bird. Clack. Lights out. It all goes black.
That's like those boars in Texas that are overpopulating.
10 digits handling that.
Give me an AR
Dude,
and just
just
let me
For the
have
people out there
fun.
that haven't seen that, the boars, they can't really be taken down by
I
any
believe it's called porkopolyps.
porkopolyps. There are so many boars, they're just overproducing and just pushing out other ecosystems that they have to go in.
They're
and
killing them with a Gatling gun.
They go in with Gatling guns. I've seen them shoot them with Tannerite?
Tannerite.
Tannerite. Okay, that's the
Just
that's
blowing them bitches
yeah,
up.
No, they stacked 4 pounds of tannerite at a feed site.
Yeah,
and
food plot.
sat like 200 yards away with a rifle
Actually pretty fucked up.
and got them all. I'm talking 5, probably 10.
There's 10 of them,
all
10
in a
deep.
circle, just around the same pile of food. Dude shoots the goddamn tannerite. They all go.
Dude, you
it looks
just
like
see
a butthole
pigs.
exploding.
You see
Don't get the homie when he's at
you
the dinner
see
table.
boars
though.
flying like hundreds of feet in the air. Like you're like, oh my god, I can't believe it just flew that high. But anyways. So what we were talking about is can you like rent a helicopter and just be like, yeah, I want to go shoot boars.
There's guide services for
Yeah,
it.
guide services for it for you to take an AR-15.
They strap you in.
They strap you in to the side of a helicopter where you won't fall, and you just they put food plots out, and you fly up on that motherfucker, and they start running, and you gun them down with an AR-15. How fucking badass is that?
Get at me. I'm trying to do it.
Some people might call that like, oh fuck that, it's poor piggies. Fuck you,
fucking pigs.
They're
Fuck
tearing
those
up
pigs.
ecosystems. They're just overproducing. Like you got to get rid of them somehow.
Plus,
Okay.
Well, and they have no.
Bacon's
They don't
delicious.
have bacon's delicious, and they don't have any
Bacon's fucking
predators.
delicious.
They don't have any
Yeah.
predators.
yeah, 'cause-
yeah, who the fuck
yeah.
is killing boars?
Yeah.
Humans.
What animal in Texas takes on boars? They ain't got no fucking wolves or any of that shit.
Homo sapiens.
Though it'd be tight to bring some wolves in. See
Yeah,
what
take them out of
happens.
California from where they're fucking everything up and put them in Texas.
Just see what happens. You know what I mean?
Would they take out more of the boar population or the deer population though?
Oh, I don't know. See,
Because there's a big deer population in Texas.
That's a crazy idea.
but they're all skinny as shit.
Are they?
Crocodiles.
Crocodiles.
I said it's a crazy idea. I
This
didn't
will
say-
work in Florida.
Look, it's a work
little,
in progress.
A little
I'm not-
breezy
It's a
in
work in
I
Florida.
haven't
Florida.
fucking covered all the details yet.
It's a little breezy in
Yeah.
Florida.
Okay,
Isn't
so-
it like a category 4 on Matthew in Florida right now?
Whatever.
Oh,
You were gonna
it'll be
say?
Fine. So it's October 6th,
Yeah.
5 days into bow season.
Yes.
Or 6, I guess it depends on how you count the days.
Right.
How long? Obviously, your bow's always like sighted in or whatever.
Mhm.
How long have you been out in the backyard shooting?
Well, I tuned it up in June and got the everything checked out and shot once or twice a week in June till about a couple weeks before I got burnt, and then was shooting consistently almost every day, and then got burnt, was down for like 3 weeks, 4 weeks, and now I'm shooting. I didn't shoot today, but pretty much every day.
I feel like that's the reason that I haven't committed to hunting with you yet, because I know like this shit is for real for you. Like I've been hunting with some people who are like, "Hey, go sit in that tree stand,"
And like
fucking
hope
call
maybe
me.
you'll sit and
You
hit
know?
something.
and it's like you fucking have this property that you fucking burned yourself, making it good, like making it preparing.
we
it for
legitimately
hunting, like.
managed 120 acres.
So I haven't shot my bow this year. Like I feel like I can't go hunting with you.
I mean, and like honestly, if you haven't had it out and you haven't I'm not putting you in a stand.
I see. I know.
I'm not trying to be mean.
No,
Like
that's what I'm saying. Is
you're
I-
welcome
no,
to
I
come
want-
out there
I
anytime as
want
long as
to.
you're tuned up.
I
you know?
really-
See,
I
and
really
I
wanted
agree,
to. I
dude,
wanted
because
to,
I
man.
bought a bow a long time ago when we first started
I'm
hanging out.
pretty sure
and,
I talked him into
And
doing
dude,
it.
I shot that thing a lot. I would go out. I couldn't really do it in my backyard because I have a fucking neighbor behind me, so I can't really shoot at their house. They'd freak the fuck out because I mean, a bow is like a gun to me. The 60 pounds on that bow, that's gonna go through somebody and kill somebody.
Oh yes.
Like if you shoot through a window, you're taking somebody
Were you
out.
shooting 60?
65.
Nice.
Yeah. Anyways, so I would go out to my grandfather's and shoot that motherfucker all the time. And that was the funnest shit. I mean, it's like, it's cheaper than trap shooting and you just pick up the arrows.
And I mean, there's
Like-
something about it too that's just so there's
It's
a lot of-
relaxing.
well, there's a lot of aspects to it. So it's like you could just shoot a bow and never hunt in your life, and it still is one of those things that's just an escape, and it's very one track minded thing. And in a world where we have cell phones, tablets, like information coming at you at all times that you're trying to process, and you're just constantly exposed to all this stuff, it's like I shut my phone off and I go shoot my bow, and it's like that's all I'm focused on is getting that arrow into that target, and that's it. And you
Yeah.
go through your routine, you pull back, put your kisser button in, put your nose on the string, at least for me, and then turn, look, elbow bent just a little bit, got your anchor point in, breathe, surprise yourself with a release. And
Which is the same way as shooting a gun.
and then you do that repetitively until because you're chasing perfection, like that perfect group, that perfect 10 group that never comes. But you're chasing it because you have done it. And, it's, I don't know, it's just relaxing as fuck. But then you apply that, honing that skill to take the life of something that even getting within fucking 60 yards is a feat.
Yeah.
Let alone getting
That's
that,
a long ways away.
getting him in with inside, at least for me, 40 yards. If you're inside 40 yards and I got a clear shot, you're meat on the table.
You're going down.
Yeah, I'm at least, yeah.
You're human food.
You're human food.
The coyotes didn't get you.
No.
The humans got you.
I got you. And I won't eat your ass first.
And that's like that.
I'm gonna cook you real nice and proper.
I'm
like
gonna
that
make sure you're dead.
That focus is like, I can compare that to trap shooting. I used to trap shoot a shit ton. I used to be on the school team, unfortunately. And
Why
You were, hey,
unfortunately?
whoa.
I say that because I didn't like the people I was on the team with. Sorry.
You never shot
Sorry
with
about
us,
you.
did you?
I didn't. I shot with Ryan Bland for a little while.
Did you?
For I think a year. I was on his team.
And I think we all left after that.
Yeah, and then it sucked, and then I didn't have a team anymore.
Because So trap at our school wasn't regulated, right? So it wasn't like a school sanctioned sport, but there was like a trap and skeet, what they considered a club. But
Kind of
you-
like Edwardsville had a tubing club. Like it wasn't,
What?
but it was like tubing, like in on a lake
Are
and
you
shit.
talking? What is it?
I'm just
how
saying
is-
it's the same thing. It
how
wasn't
is
like a
that
school sponsored
sport
club.
If you're on a tube,
Just the
floating
same
on
way
a-
that
I get ya.
the same way that the trap team wasn't sponsored by the school. It was just like, hey, we're gonna go fucking do trap and say we're the Bethalto trap team.
yes.
Yeah,
That's
okay,
it.
That's a good point.
And
Okay,
but
yeah.
what
I
people
understand what you're
didn't
saying.
realize, well, we had this lady called I think her name was Miss Gowan,
Yeah.
and
Well, she was an all right lady.
She was just-
I got nothing bad to say.
no, I mean
about
she
her.
wasn't an awful lady, but she was an awful trap coach. And like,
I don't even know if she knew how to shoot trap.
but
I want to go fucking shoot trap right now.
and
Agreed.
you know, I mean, I'm sure she's got her accolades or whatever. I don't give a shit. But like, Bethalto, as a rule, was not a winning team when it came to trap and
Dude,
skeet.
we were never a winning
we
team.
had. Well,
Or
they
really a winning team in anything other than maybe soccer.
soccer, yeah, and some
The only
hockey,
thing
though.
that
Some
the only
hockey,
thing that
though.
sucks is like we
Unless
were
they
on
played
handicap.
Edwardsville.
So what handicap means is you shoot from about 16 yards to about 17 yards. That's handicap. Where they are shooting from 18,
You're getting ahead of yourself.
19 to 20 yards.
Well,
So-
I've shot in a trap league before.
So where they're calling out to like for trying to recruit for trap, right? I'm like, man, I want to shoot, but then I saw the kids signing up, and it's all the kids that wear cowboy boots to school, camo hats,
Of course.
drive these big old trucks, but they don't actually hunt or they don't actually do anything country besides listen to country music and chew tobacco.
Daddy has a shotgun though.
Yeah, my dad though. But anyway, I'm not gonna name names. You know who you are, and
You're probably not listening.
and whatever. And so those kids started signing up. I'm like, man, fuck that, huh? And but my buddy Ryan, we figured out that this isn't a sanctioned school thing. We could just make our own team and shoot against the schools in the same league. So that's what we did, and it fucking worked out. Even though they were at 16, 17 yards. We're shooting at 23. And they're like, because all we did was walk around and say, you actually hunt, don't you? You're good? And they're like, yeah. And it was like all my friends
But-
that we hunted with.
But remember when I got on? Dude, I was a fucking punk skater. But I like to shoot trap.
You at least
And
applied
then-
yourself and you had an in.
Yeah, but dude, I remember coming on and we would do that. We would shoot back that far. And I had never shot that far
And then
back
you watch them line up and
ever.
you're like, fuck.
But dude, no, everybody was like, "You've only been shooting for that long, and you're shooting with
Oh,
us."
you picked
I
it
mean,
up quick.
I might have been the lowest one on the totem pole, but I held my own. I felt like, you know,
Did you shoot on the rookies or did you shoot on...
It might have been the rookies.
Yeah.
My boy, good friend of mine, Adam Phelps, was on there before we even really hung out, and another kid I knew, I don't remember his fucking name. Sorry, dude.
Because we were on the good old boys. And then they
you were on the
made-
good old boys, and then Ryan made the smaller one, which I was on.
Right, he made it to like... You know how like the Cardinals have like a minor league?
That was us.
You guys were the Memphis squad.
We made Ryan started making a minor league as like
a feed system.
like from eighth, like he would start recruiting in 8th grade and freshmen and to get them to shoot on the rookies so that he could breed a team for the good old boys.
That's awesome.
And it fucking worked out.
Yeah, I remember that, dude. But then something fell through with that. I don't know what it was.
Ryan he went to fucking Lindenwood
Yeah.
to shoot full time on a full ride scholarship.
Yeah, that fucking fell through, and then I was out of a team, so all I had was the school team.
I already graduated.
Yeah, you already graduated, so it didn't fucking
God
matter.
damn it, Brad, you're young as fuck.
And yeah, and then I had to do the school team, which, like you said, was nothing but the people that wore cowboy boots and camo hats, but didn't really do shit. And I wasn't even a hunter.
Well, and
I
they weren't
came
that
in-
good a
I came
shot
in-
either.
I came in wearing flat bills and Vans because I skated. But I was the top one. I was one of the top people on the team. I'm not gonna say I was the best, but I was one of the top people on the team. They relied on me to get us through, basically, and like it fucking sucked. I enjoyed being on Ryan Bland's team to where like I had other people that were higher than me, so it made me like, all right, I need to bust my ass, you know.
Yeah.
But a point I wanted to make coming
But at
back
least you got to shoot at 16 yards.
yeah, it was nice, dude. I killed it at 16 yards because the point I wanted to make was the only time that I've shot 25 out of 25 on trap was when my focus was just there.
Isn't
It's
that the
same,
best?
It's the same way with you and saying 10 on in a fucking pattern on shooting bow. Like that's a feat. Getting that 10 in that little fucking circle, and it's the same way as getting 25.
It's more like getting like 5 in the 10 circle.
Yes. Okay, yeah, that's what I meant. But it's like shooting 25 out of 25 of trap. Because
Is there anything better than that?
dude, there's nothing better than that. And it's insane because it's like you can't fucking think about it because the whole time you're shooting, you're just like move next station. Move next station. You got to wait for everybody else to shoot along the line. So you have to wait for 4 other people?
5.
5 other people?
No,
No,
it's
it's
5 on a
total.
stand. 5 on a stand.
4
so
other
4
people before you, so then you can shoot. And you have to keep your focus that entire time. And there's a point to where you get. I used to position my feet at a different point at each stand for the angle of like the long shot because there would be a bird that would shoot out farther than the rest of them to like an angle, and you would have to compensate for
That's
that.
the only thing I didn't like about Olin is you could time those.
Oh, you could totally time those. I did. That's
always
how I would
timed
get
them.
25
That's how I'd shoot
out of
25 out of 25. I'd wait for that bitch to get to the center.
Yeah, but I remember doing that, and it's that intense focus of nothing else is there. You don't hear the people. You don't like 'cause your family's there, and they might be you
got
cheering or
earplugs in.
something. You have earplugs in. You don't hear anything. You hear the of other people shooting, and if everybody is on point, gun ready to go, okay, pull, and then you're up. If that's just like clockwork, you keep that focus and you just move through and. By the time you're all done, you're like, holy shit, I just shot 25 out of 25 and I don't even remember it because you were just so there.
You want to know what the worst part about a 25 out of 25 is?
Getting a 24 out of 25?
The next time
No.
you don't get 25.
Bird number 23.
Oh,
Because
yeah.
that bird number 23, it's real. It could happen.
Dude,
And
it
the pressure's
is.
on.
It does. It gets to you. And you have to have that mental focus to block that out. Because as soon as that pressure gets to you, you're done.
That's why, dude,
You're going to fuck up every time. Because I've been there. I've done 23s. I've done 24s. And I've just hated life.
I would hum to myself.
I
would hum to myself and I would intentionally lose count because I couldn't know what bird we were on. And I would just shoot until they said we were done.
Yeah.
And that's the only way I could get 25.
That's
out of
what I had to
25s.
do. I could not think about it. I couldn't be like, I did 25 out of 25. I had to try to like convince myself that no, I think I missed a bird. No, like I had to try to do that to take the pressure off.
You know how hard it is to make yourself realize that it's not 25 because you're pulling shells out of a 25 case, right?
Mm-hmm.
So if you know you reach in and grab that last shell, you know this is 25 out of 25. So what I would do is carry 2 on me, 2 on my belt, and I would pick 1 from each time, so you don't know.
It was never really a concern with me. I've never gotten 25 out of 25. I pretty much though, I really did. I
got my, what was it? I think I did 125. I got 125 in a row.
I mean, I like legitimately. I feel like I grew up at the Edwardsville Gun Club.
Or maybe I got 100 and then I got another 25 patch. I don't remember. Either way.
My dad every Thursday was in league from the time I was born till I was probably in high school sometime. I grew up at the gun club.
Yeah.
And I like filled in for his team for a while. His team, my dad used to be really fucking good at fucking shooting trap. He'd shoot 48, 49, 50 all the time.
Right.
And, not 50, but 47 to 49, whatever.
Well, I mean, shooting 50s. I mean,
Yeah.
there are dudes
kill it.
that go down there that shoot league all the fucking time.
Yeah.
That if they're not shooting 100 in a night, like they're pissed.
Yeah, that's a
Right.
bad night for them.
It's a bad night for them. So,
That's
But
insane.
I
dude.
had one team. I was in one league like by myself. I filled in for their team or whatever. They usually pretty much hated it. They're like, oh, this, because I was like 16. Like, oh, this fucking kid in our team or whatever. But I had one league, and we chose to do the winter league just because it was like, but it was like a spur of the moment thing.
fall league's the best.
No, but it was just
Fall
like
League is the best.
we were sitting around. It was like Tim Grisham from 62. Shout out Tim Grisham, and my brother and my dad and me, and we were just like, fuck it, let's just start a team right now, whatever it is. And it just happened to be the winter, and you just like you literally could not feel your fingers reaching for the shells. Like legitimately, there was a couple times where I was like, I don't think I can even shoot. Like, I can't load my shotgun right now because it's fucking November and snowing sideways. And we're trying to shoot trad
Dude.
at these fucking pigeons.
I've been there. I've shot in weather like that. So has AJ. I've shot in weather to where it's pouring down rain and they didn't call it when you're supposed to call it, but there's no lightning, so they didn't call it, and it was pouring. And the birds would come out of the fucking trap house and shoot and just drop, just shoot. So I would say pull, bang, as fast as I could, and I knew I could compensate where the bird was going, so I knew where it would be, and I go pull, bang.
Where do you like to shoot a bird? In the arc.
In the arc, probably I normally about peak. It's about peak.
Right when it stops ascending and starts descending.
That fraction of a second, just, and then I follow it through as it goes down.
Right. So you shoot at the apex too.
Yes.
Oh, I like to,
Yes.
This is probably why I'm terrible at trapping. You guys are good. I like to shoot it as soon as possible.
No.
Yeah, I want it to be as close to me as possible.
Which, I mean, that's
what I do.
That's what a lot of people want.
What I do is I follow it out, but I'm behind it, and I try and pass it up right at the apex. And as soon as your bead gets right in front of it, pull that trigger, and you try and time that out to the apex.
Yeah.
It's actually pretty hilarious if we ever, like, whenever we shoot trap out of my grandparents' house, and you can stand like right next to the fucking bird thrower.
Mm-hmm.
So it's pull, boom. It's like the bird's like 20 feet away from you.
Yeah.
As soon as possible. Because also at my grandparents, there's a couple kind of shooting lanes randomly throughout. It's not planned, so
Right.
you like literally have to hit it before it hits the trees.
Yeah.
Pull.
I wish we would do that out of your property, AJ,
Well, we've
or even my grandfather's property.
I
We
think
could
we
do
need
it
to
out
go to
there.
the fucking gun club on a Sunday and just get some practice rounds in. So
I think we
like.
do
man.
because I got this is like one of the most special things I've ever gotten from my grandpa is he passed down his trap gun to me, his Remington 870 12 gauge, and like
good gun.
he was the one that got me into trap shooting. Without him, I would have never shot. And he used to shoot on the league back when he was like early 80s, man, when I was younger. And he would take me down there and watch him shoot.
When you were younger in the 80s?
No, he was early 80s. He was like
His grandpa's
80 years
old as fuck.
My grandpa is
I was
old
like-
as
I know
fuck.
You said he used to take me back in the 80s.
his grandpa's like
I was
141 years old.
My grandpa is 96 years old, and this was back when I was a lot younger, and he would take me down there, and finally when I was old enough, my dad actually took me down there, so I got to give credit to him. But without my grandfather, I wouldn't have been as interested into it. But took me down there, and I shot first time. I think I got like 13 first go, and I think 10 the second go or something like that. But I was fucking hooked, dude. And if it wasn't for my grandpa taking me down there just to watch him, and he was using that gun, he's got his fucking last name printed on the side of it, Dalton. And it's like, it's nice because I'll never take that off because that's
Fuck
his
no.
that's his gun, dude. It's
The
a,
only
it's
thing
a
you
fucking
need to do,
honor to
the only
get
thing you need to
passed
do
down
with
a
that gun is get it reblued.
Yeah, yeah.
Get it reblued so that it'll last.
Oh yeah. And
Don't change the wood stocks because it's got all that wear on it.
I love that. But,
Keep
but
that.
I
That's
think
what
the
I'm saying.
stock isn't wood. I think it's like that. What's that fake shit that doesn't rub off as well?
Synthetic?
Yeah, it's synthetic. Because I remember you had.
Is it a wood stock or is it black?
No, it's a wood stock.
Then it's a full wood stock. It's a cherry stock. I'm pretty
Okay.
sure.
Yeah.
I'm pretty sure I've seen that gun. Have I
Oh,
seen
you've
that one?
seen that gun for sure.
And then yeah,
Yeah, for sure.
You've got you got a good edition, and it's an older one. So all you
Yes.
have to do is get that thing reblued. All it's gonna do is it's just gonna recoat the metal,
Yeah.
but all the engravings and everything will still be there. And keep that old wood, man. Keep that.
Yeah, dude.
If anything,
it's got that. It's
if
darker
any-
than this, and it's actually about right there.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if anything, you can get new hardware because if it stock's
Yeah.
jiggly or the back starts jiggling, keep it all though.
Like that would be something I would pass on to my kid if
That's
he
what I'm
ever
saying.
wanted to shoot. You know, and
And
I really want to go shoot more. I just haven't had the time. It's like now that we sit here and talk about it, I used to have so much fun doing that. That was just something every week to look forward to. Like, I get to go shoot my gun. I get to blow off some steam, just hang out with people, and just shoot my fucking gun, you know?
Yeah, and dude, and that's why I live for the months of October through January. Because, like, the rest of the year, like, I'm good. Like, I'm not depressed, but, like, there's
But
just
you're not Cameron Haynes preparing all the time.
I'm in a different, I'm in a different state of mind when it's hunting season. And I'm in an overall better mood. I'm a lot tireder, but a lot more tired. And thank you. You're welcome. And the, I don't know. It's just, it's one of those things you can't put words on. Because when October, like, it usually starts in, like, August. I'm like, squirrel season's in. I haven't even been squirrel hunting, but it's just like a reminder to, you got to start prepping for deer season. You got to get going. And I don't know, I just get in this mode, and it consumes my thought. Like, that's all I want to do. And, like, I'm just overall happier when it's a deer season. I don't know why. I don't get it, but it's just like a fire gets lit inside you. And, like, you feel like you have purpose. I don't know. Is that weird?
No. I'm actually a little upset that I don't get that feeling anymore. I never had the feeling, like, of the entire bow season.
Yeah.
But from the time I was in 6th grade till my senior year of high school, we had, like, this hunting property down in Pope County.
Yeah.
In Olin, Illinois.
Yeah.
And, like, it was just a cabin that I knew. Like, we only went shotgun hunting, but I knew that twice a year I was going to get to, first of all, miss school.
Right.
We went down on, my dad would go down on, like, a Wednesday a lot of time and hunt Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right.
But we'd ride down separately and get there, like, we'd miss Friday of school, and we were just in the cabin. There wasn't cell phones.
No.
There was 3 channels on the TV, and you were deer hunting.
You were hunting. You were fucking hunting.
And, like, now I, like, tell you this story about how I can't shoot a bow, so I can't come with you. But I used to have that feeling, and I would really love to, like, get back to it.
I'm telling you,
See,
man.
I've never had that feeling.
You just got to grease the wheels. You know what I mean? For you to get back into it, you've got your form, right? You've got a bow. You go get it tuned up, and
I'm gonna have to
put
buy
some reps in.
some fletchings.
Some fletchings.
Shit got weird when I moved. I have one complete arrow. All my other fletchings are just broke because they're just like in a quiver that I carry around.
That's no big deal.
It's not a good idea.
See, I think you got that because you guys, like, started from a young age.
And
you know?
here's another caveat to my obsession is I grew up, we'll say, hunting privileged because I had 120 acres to run around on and manipulate and hunt and trial and error on my own private property, right? And
Yeah.
but it's taught me how to pattern deer, how to, patterning. There's so much work that goes into it as far as putting up trail cameras, sitting before season, which I didn't get to do this year, but usually I'll sit before season, sit in the stand just by my, no bow or anything, just sit, and you start watching. You start patterning their movements, trying to spot, good bucks, trying to spot does, where the doe's going, because where there's smoke, there's fire. Tracking for, trails, looking for sign, hanging stands, and then, shit starts getting real. And, I've hung stands where I never saw a fucking deer out of. I've sat 8 hours, never, and didn't see a deer. And it's like, well, why aren't I seeing deer? Or, I would have deer come in after dark, and, I was on the wrong sign because I actually wasn't scouting. I was just scouting sign. It wasn't scouting activity, and times, and getting their patterns down, because deer are very patternistic before and after the rut. The rut, shit goes crazy, but all bets are off. But anything can fucking happen, and that's why I love the rut, because you could get a traveling buck that you've never seen before, never laid eyes on, haven't been, after, and boom, all of a sudden this dude just shakes up your reality and walks right into your world, and you're like, holy shit. And, you're like, I've never seen this. Like, I killed one 2 years ago. It was shotgun season, and I call him Crab Claw. And I had never seen this deer before, ever. And I know my property pretty well, and we keep game cams out, and we name the bucks. Okay, this one's 2, this one's 3, this one's got a good mass on him. We're gonna try and kill this deer and that deer to manage the property. And dude, and then you just get these wild cards. Nice older buck, huge. He had to have been 5.5, and just stepped out on a trail while I was walking. And it was like just dumb hunter's luck. And I got him. And it was just like one of those deals where it's like anything can fucking happen during the rut. That's why I love the rut. But I don't know where I was going with this story.
I think
It's just a good story.
I think the whole property thing is what like really upsets me the most. And because I went down to this cabin in Southern Illinois from the time I was 11 to the time I was 18. I took 3 deer out of there, I think. And I mean, this is where we went. Like we went hunting. And the guy who owned that property ended up passing away. I think he passed away my junior year. We went back my senior year because we had like one more year that his son owned the property, and his son ended up selling it. So like the biggest thing for me is from that point, I always had somewhere to go. Like we were just going to go hunt there. But since then, since I was 18, now I'm 26, I've had to like piggyback on other people. Like,
Right.
Hey, can I hunt your property?
Right.
And everyone's like, oh yeah, of course, obviously.
But
you
it's like
can.
not your spot.
But it's not my spot. Like I can't go. I can't set up stands and clear trails and
You
all
can't
this other
scout
stuff.
and yeah.
Or even just like go there. Like even we didn't do any of that shit really in the cabin. We just like showed up and like, there's fucking deer here. There's 4 good spots. Good luck, brothers.
Yeah.
We'll see you on Sunday. Like even if I wasn't even preparing the property, I just don't have anywhere to go.
Yeah.
I feel like that's one of like
Well, I mean,
my biggest goals is to like own some hunting property. Like
honestly though, like granted I'm privileged, right? So, but there is tons of public land, and I know everybody shudders at the thought of public land, and they're like, oh fuck, there's a bunch of dudes, and you gotta worry about people walking in on you and all this other stuff. But if you're willing to put in the time and you're willing to put in the work, and you're somewhat physically fit, you can go where these other guys aren't going to go. And because there's vast amount of acreage that's hard to get to. And you might be walking 4 miles in, 5 miles in. And, it's going to take a while to get in, but if you can get in there, you're going to have that shit all to yourself. And if you were out there in the summers and you were scouting and you were looking, trying to find sign, trying to find good trees for, climber stands because you don't want to put up a permanent stand. And, just scouting it out. Like I said, you got to put in a lot more work, but the payoff's worth it because you have these hundreds of acres that are yours. They're everybody's, but primarily in your world, they're yours. And you can, you don't have as much free reign over the property, but you can't tell people what to do. And you take a chance on getting busted every now and then if there's somebody as hardcore as you willing to get back to where you're willing to get back to. And, to me, it's just about having the time for one, and 2, having the know-how and putting in the work. And, if you've never been to Pure Marquette and traveled the hundreds and hundreds of back acres of it, which not many people have, you're not going to know that. So,
yeah, because like me and Mallory and Milo go on hikes at Pure Marquette all the time, and that's like barely anything compared to what's really out there.
yeah, that
That's
little
like
lodge with those trails, that ain't shit.
Yeah,
Because there's like 2 access roads before and like 2 after that you can get in on and go hunt these areas. And there's some monsters in there. It's right on the river bottoms. And
they're just like hidden monsters that nobody finds throughout the years.
they stay in those big valleys and those big ridges. Like I said, it's hard to get to. The shit is hard to get to because that whole,
only a deer would live
all
in.
that property just goes up and back down and up and back down, and it's fucking awful to get through, and it's awful to try and get a deer out of there, but you can kill some fucking hogs back there.
wait, hogs out of helicopters?
Hogs.
Gatling guns?
So we got to talk about this guy. We got to talk about Todd Orr.
The dude that got mauled by that bear.
The dude that got mauled by the bear. If anybody has not seen that video on your Facebook feed, on YouTube yet, this guy takes a selfie video after he has just hiked out 3 miles after getting mauled by a bear. And he takes a selfie video. And he shows his wounds and tells a brief story of what has happened to him. And then gets in his truck and drives to the hospital.
After he walked how many miles out? I forget.
Well, let's start at the beginning of this. All right, so
For
this
sure, don't
dude-
read it word for word.
I'm not gonna read it word for word. I got fucking notes, man. Not really notes, but anyways, this dude goes out and he's scouting for elk, and this is what is it? This is in Montana, where he's at, and he goes out scouting. And he scouts out about 3 miles out, and he says, and he gives like a description of what actually happened that day, and he says when he goes out about every 30 seconds or 30 minutes.
What?
He would call every 30 seconds. He would call out, and he'd call out to let the bears know that he's there. Because normally, if you call out to a bear and they hear your voice, they're going to run off. So that's what he does about every 30 seconds, walking up this trail for about 3 miles. He's yelling, calling, to make sure that there's no bears. He's just scouting for elk. He gets to this point in this valley, and then he sees this mama bear and these bear cubs come out in front of him. And he says they're about 80 yards out. Now, 80 yards, if you don't know yards, is about 240 feet. That's a long fucking ways away. And they sees him, they start walking off. He's like, okay, cool. And the next thing you know, she just charges him. And he says he calls out to him, like, hey, I'm here, and calls out, nothing. She don't give a fuck. And he sprays the bear spray, which is, what is it, about 25 feet out?
Yeah.
The bear spray goes. It's like a big canister. Sprays that. And he says that she runs right through the bear spray and then just tackles him. And the dude's fucking smart because he says he blocks his neck and his face to block some of the arteries on his neck and everything, because that's what they go for. So he's blocking that, and she's just mauling him, dude. Just tearing him up. He's got a backpack on his back, thankfully, which takes a lot of the brunt of it. But this fucking, God, no, I don't even know an average weight for a female grizzly bear.
800 pounds.
800 pounds on top of you, mauling you with
Or
fucking,
more, I mean.
with dinner plate. I mean, if you can see this in the camera, fucking dinner plate size feet and claws fucking this long.
Oh, you're being gracious with
I'm
that.
being, yeah, I'm not a fucking scientist. I don't know.
Not a-
I don't know
They're
the
fucking
exact.
big.
I mean, I'm probably an idiot from
They're
what I'm
butcher
saying.
knives
but
on- you can
they're
call her
fucking
Edward
butcher
Scissorhands.
knives, dude, tearing at this guy, and he lays calm and just lays down and acts like he's dead and hides himself, and then the bear leaves, goes back to the cubs, and he thinks he's good. So he gets up and realizes, okay, I'm good. I'm all right. Nothing's really, I mean, I got tore up a lot, but I can still walk. My inner organs are good. My eyesight's good. So he gets up and he starts jogging and kind of walking at the same time. And he gets, I forget what it was. He said maybe a mile down the path, which he's 3 miles out, 3 miles away from his truck. He maybe gets a mile away from this bear, or he thinks he does. Next thing you know, he looks back 25 yards and it's running at him. And he starts running. Can you imagine after already getting mauled, the same fucking bear chasing you down? He doesn't know if it came down the path or if it came across, through the brush. But
There's a cat. The dude had a gun. And
Yeah.
that, to me, I know everybody takes these stories and they go, oh, this is what I would have done. But that's kind of what I'm going to do here. But fuck, man. When does it become me or that fucking bear? Those cubs can get fucked. I'm shooting your mom.
Yeah.
If it's me or them, if you didn't shoot her the first time, for sure, don't go, I'm just going to try and yell it off the second time. No, she's trying to kill you. Kill that bitch.
That's tough. I don't know. That's the only attitude that could. Oh,
But I
well,
mean,
we don't
25
need-
yards.
it's
Think how
unnecessary.
fast she came in 80 yards. But
Oh, I know.
25
Oh,
yards, fucking ran that fast and was already on
Well,
him.
if you're running at me and you're 80 yards away and I have time to pull my gun out, fuck that bear spray, huh?
I mean, yeah. I mean, I'm not going to say that I wouldn't have pulled the gun first. I probably wouldn't even have fucked with the bear spray. Then again, I don't even know how to use a gun.
Hey, man.
That's just me saying.
I'm
it,
not bringing bear spray. I don't want that as an option. I want.
I got my conceal and carry for a reason, bitch.
You don't even need it in the
I'm
mountains.
just kidding.
You
No,
just
but
bring-
And I mean,
but I
it's-
use it on the block, so for sure I'm going to use it in the mountains.
And I mean,
Yeah.
it's sad. It's like, okay, sorry, you're gonna orphan a couple bear cubs, but like, it's me or it.
yeah,
know?
you dead.
I'm getting out of the woods alive.
Hopefully,
ain't-
I might
ain't
actually
fucking
just
around.
miss with every shot, but I'm going to try.
I am human.
Hey,
and
the
I
closer
made
she
gun
gets,
for
the
a
more
reason.
closer she gets, the more accurate you become.
Yeah.
Hopefully, if I haven't ran out of ammo.
Good point. But this dude gets mauled twice. And the second time's fucking worse. And he, like AJ said, he didn't fucking pull his gun, which we all agree he should have. He gets mauled again, and this time gets this huge gash on his fucking ear, and she just starts fucking biting his arm, and he's got pictures on his Facebook where you can see the puncture wounds of the 4 canines just going into his arm. Like, it's insanely brutal to look at. And the skin of the side of his head is filleted off from where a claw just sliced it wide open and probably touched his fucking skull, and then it's just flapping open. Can you like?
And he drove himself 20 miles to the nearest
He
hospital.
drove himself. He finally gets back after the second mauling. Finally gets back to his truck, takes the fucking selfie video, and then, like you said, drives 20 miles. He said on the way there he met like a hitchhiker or somebody, not a hitchhiker, just somebody on the side of the road, and was like, hey, call the hospital and tell them I'll be there in a little bit. And then he calls his wife and goes, hey, how are you doing? And she's like, oh, blah, 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 I'm doing fine. He's like, oh, I'm on the way to the hospital. I need you to bring me a spare set of clothes because mine are covered in blood. Like, what a fucking badass
He is
to
a badass.
fucking say that, dude.
Certified badass.
So, like, he had to have been in shock. There's no way you don't get attacked twice and not be in shock from those injuries.
For sure, shoot the bear, but that guy's a badass.
His forearm, I didn't tell that part of the story, but he said that in the second attack, the bear bit his forearm and he felt it crunch and his hand go limp. And he could not fucking move it. So he's driving to the hospital one-handed the whole time and talking on the phone to his wife. That's probably not safe.
driving with his knee.
Yeah, so the wife calls the hospital. When he gets to the hospital, there's like doctors already waiting at the emergency door. And they're like, wow, I can't believe you actually took the time to buckle in. The dude buckled himself in with one arm, dude. Like, how much of a badass can you be? Like, yes, I agree. You probably should have pulled the gun. But you took 2 maulings from, like, what'd you say, 800-pound grizzly bear?
That's being conservative. but yeah.
Jesus fucking Christ. What a tough motherfucker. And you walked 3 miles out through rough country. You know that wasn't on trails.
All I'm saying,
I mean,
is-
goddamn.
all the bears aside, I'm trying to go bow hunt elk.
That's what he was trying to do. I mean, I don't know if it was bow hunt, but he said he was scouting for elk.
All bears aside, I'm going to Colorado, and I'm going to try and kill an elk next year.
That'd be a trip of the lifetime, dude.
I'm going to try and make it a trip of mini life.
Did you see that
Trip of the
video
year.
of that? I think it was I'm not gonna get the age right, but I think it was like a 13-year-old kid just shoots this elk, and it's like maybe 20 yards away, less than that, and he shoots it dead in the heart with this arrow, just like front blow, just boom, and that elk just stands there, and you just see the blood just going. Just pouring out like a fucking faucet, and it just falls over. Like, what a fucking luck of a lifetime that deer, that elk just walked up perfectly in line. That you just done. It didn't even know what happened. It just bled
So
out
awesome.
to where it didn't
Everything
even know
goes
what happened.
black.
Yeah, it didn't even know what happened. It was just like just down. After like 30 seconds of blood just pouring out of it onto the fucking log in front of it. It just splatters all over this log. That's pretty gruesome, but it's like, God damn, dude, that's just insane.
I
It's
saw
insane.
one video. There was I think he was 8 years old, and drew back on a doe, standing next to another doe, killed them both with a bow. With
What
a
was
bow.
he pulling on?
I don't know. It just looked like a bow. I don't know how many pounds he was pulling. I would imagine it's
Damn.
not much, but went through out the other side and into the other one, killed them both.
Wow, Wow, that's insane, dude. I don't know.
That's actually pretty irresponsible on the dad part because he told him, go ahead and shoot. And you're not supposed to shoot in those situations, but still cool.
Yeah, but I mean, from a dude that's never been deer hunting besides the time we went shotgun hunting and we didn't see shit.
Rough day.
Rough day. But I mean, like you said, that's hunting. Like, you got to put in the hours before you finally get reward.
Yeah.
You know? And from a dude that's never been hunting and to watch videos like that and to hear your stories, those are like adventures. Like, that's insane shit to me. You
Well,
know?
and you also I have developed a skill. I feel like it's a skill,
and it's also a primal instinct.
right? But
In a
you also
sense.
gain like a profound respect for the deer that you're hunting, because I'm in their world. Like, yeah, I've got my crafty shit of sitting up in trees and learning how to pattern them and scout them, but I get skunked more times
It's-
than I kill.
it's the
And
ultimate chess game.
Yes, it is, and there's a perfect way of describing it because, and they've got the deck stacked in their favor, you know, because I wouldn't say that if I was shotgun hunting. If I was shotgun hunting, it's more of a 50-50 and right place, right time, because I think just about anybody that goes out, and it's no knock on people that just weekend warrior and they shotgun hunt. That's what they do. They do it for meat acquisition. There's no harm in that. But bow hunting gives you a profound respect for them because you're up close and personal with them. You know, for me, I like them within 30. You know, if I've got a clear open shot, I'll take a 40-yard shot. But majority of the time, I need 30 yards or under. And, you know, to be able to do that, you know, it takes skill and it takes dedication, but also, you know, you get humbled by these deer and you're like, God damn it, you know, because you get this close and that close and this close so many times and then nothing. You're walking out empty handed. It's dark and they outsmarted you again. And, you know, you get humbled by it. And, you know, they're awesome creatures. And I don't kill, you know, I have a relationship almost. It's a weird relationship. It's kind of stalkerish, murderish, but you know, you pattern these deer and you select ones that you want to kill, and then the day finally comes where that deer fucks up and you got him. But then when you get up to it, it's like, fuck yeah.
Well, I feel like in a sense you're a trophy hunter, but then don't get me wrong, at the same time you're a optimistic hunter because, like you said, you want to manage your properties. So you take the older ones. That's what you've always told me is you take most of the time the older ones that aren't going to make it through the winter.
Yeah.
Like, I'll take you out of the pack so that, you know, you don't just die and suffer through the winter and waste your meat.
Right.
I'm going to take the older ones, or, you know, just something you can't pass up. I mean, you're not going to be like, okay, because you've told me this before, that when you're out, you might see one younger, and it's just like, yeah, I'm not going to draw on you at all. There's no point. 'Cause
I don't
you
even
were
pick my bow up.
Yeah, you were so young. You need some years.
They got that skinny neck and really, you know, they might have really good looking antlers, but they don't have mass on them, you know, and you're like, you're going to be really nice in 2 years or a year, you know,
Yeah.
and it's like, you're going to walk. And it's a deer that a lot of people would be shaking in their boots at and they would be shooting.
Right.
And, you know, I've passed on deer, took pictures of them 10 yards in my shooting lane, and people are like, why didn't you shoot that deer? And it's like, we're on a different level here, man. We're
You've got hunting privilege, AJ.
Right,
That's
yes.
all.
Well, and you're
Hunting
worried.
privilege.
You think about the ecosystem of where you are at.
Right.
You know, because I mean,
And
you
it's
kill
hunting
them off
privilege for
while
sure.
they're young. They can't grow to be the big buck that you saw the other day.
Right.
You know?
And, you know, when you take a 5 or a 6 year old deer, you know, yeah, he had 2 more good years left, but, you know, maybe even 3 good years left. But when you kill them at their peak or on the decline, because when you kill them at the peak, you allow the button bucks, the spike bucks, and little basket racks to claim some territory, because something new is going to move into that territory regardless. And if all you're doing is killing the younger bucks, you're never going to have those adolescents to come up to have big deer. And then you've got a 5-year, you can fuck yourself. You can fuck that entire area up by shooting button bucks, spikes, basket racks, and not mature deer, because then you have 3 to 5 years to wait for any of the little ones that did survive to become mature. But if you're actively taking the older dominant or the ones on the decline out of the group, you're allowing these other ones to come up and become dominant and run the same paths that they ran when they were younger and pattern the same way instead of venturing out to find new territory because they can't win any fights here. You know what I mean? But, you know, it's like last year I took one, and when you look at his rack, he's not terribly impressive. But, you know, he was a nice deer, but he was all white, had no teeth left, and he was just a buck on the decline, and I could see that. So I took him. He wasn't
sure
the trophy.
did taste good though.
Yes, he did. And you know, he was a nice 10, but he wasn't. You could tell he was on the decline. And some people would have passed on him because he's not this trophy or this great one. He was traveling with another buck that was nicer, but was younger. And I chose to take the older one just on the pure fact of management. And, you know, not everybody can follow that because, like you said, hunting privilege. And, you know, a lot of people don't have the mindset of, I'm going to manage this property, as opposed to most people are, you know, guests on the property or they're on public land. It's like, well, if I don't shoot him, somebody else will. So I'm going to shoot him. And, you know, there's, like I said, there's merit in that. If you're just doing it for meat acquisition, hey, more power to you.
I mean, there's a lot of people who are just like, well, I get 3 weekends this year, so I'm going to take the first thing I see. That's me.
Right.
Yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. I hunted like that for a long time. You know what I mean? And for us to really start killing big bucks, you know, it took me
Is that
maturing.
all you get is 3 weekends in the season?
No, I'm just saying, for me, who has to rely on somebody else to invite me to go hunting, like, I'm not going to be out there.
How many
fucking
weekends do you get in a
for
season?
90 days in a row.
I mean, it goes for bow hunters, it's October 1st through like January 15th.
Oh, okay. That's a pretty decent amount of time then.
It's 3 months.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and that's another thing is I bow hunt. So I have the time and the luxury of, one, being able to go out to my spots anytime I want, and two, having the 3 months to pick and choose what the fuck I want to shoot.
Yeah.
You know? And I get that not a lot of people, they have the shotgun season weekends because they don't bow hunt. And they need to fill that freezer up.
We got to work, man.
Yeah.
40 hours a week. It's hard out here. We just get Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You don't
Right.
even get that Thursday.
Right. So
Trying to shoot something about 80 to 100 yards away. Let's get this.
yeah, get after it. And you just want meat in the freezer and you want a good
do.
picture, you know? And,
I don't even give a shit about the picture.
right.
I just want to eat that shit.
Yeah, that
You get what I'm
shit's
saying?
good.
And you know, if that's your only option, then I say good on you. You know, it's better than not hunting and better than not acquiring your own meat. You know, and in most places where you're at, the ecosystem's going to be just fine. It may not be producing, you know, 180-inch monsters, but you know, it
Just should have lived to see the next day.
Yeah.
Like,
Which I feel like
It's gonna
most of
be
the
okay.
time when you see those pictures of those racks that are just like outrageously pointed with just everywhere, it's like on a property like yours in a sense, you know, where they build those up over generations. You know, that's not just random. You don't just find a fucking buck.
We've
like
been
that.
managing hard for the last probably 6 years, and just in the last 2, it's really started to pay off. And I mean, I've killed big bucks before that, but you know, as far as like seeing them consistently and, you know, just all the time and an abundance of them the last 2 years. And fuck, it's getting good.
All right, so what happens when you kill the deer? So you shoot a deer, it might run off, and you have to track it down, and then you find it. Do you field dress a deer, or do you just...
I don't feel most of the time, if it's a good shot, you know, you're looking at anywhere between 30 and 130 yards that it's going to run before it runs out of gas and drops. And I let it sit for, you know, I always, even if I know it's a good shot and I'm super confident in it, the arrow's covered in blood, I got a pass through, I got hair, I've got bright red blood, which indicates a heart shot. I've got bubbles in the blood, which indicates a double lung shot. And you're like, this motherfucker ain't going far.
Yeah.
And even no matter how anxious you are, I always at least give it an hour and a half. And to let them die, make sure they're good and dead. And if it's a good shot, you're always going to come up, heads up, good. And, but you track it, you find it, and most of the time, they're going to run to where they feel safe.
Yeah.
And usually that's going to be, towards a creek bottom, wherever. But they're going to go to their haven, right? And they're not the only deer that hangs out there. And when you gut a deer, you leave the gut sack there, and which attracts every predator around, right?
Right.
So if you're trying to continue to hunt those spots, you have to drag that deer out of there as is.
Right.
I take them to a spot on our property that we don't hunt in, and there's a nice creek there. I gut them there.
Now, do you drag them out yourself, or do you get
I hire Mexicans.
Well, do you just get a 4-wheeler down there and pull it out? Or?
It depends. I mean, just where it's at. But sometimes you can't get a fucking 4-wheeler, and you got to drag it by hand to the nearest trail. But yeah, I mean,
You just drag it. You just grab that motherfucker and drag it.
Well, I usually have some help, but
Okay.
one guy grabs one horn and the other guy grabs the other horn. You start
I always
fucking
wondered
walking.
that about fucking hunting. You just shoot the deer and then you just grab him. All right, come on, buddy.
Well,
You're on my back. Let's go.
Here's a legal caveat. I tag him and call him in as soon as I get up to him.
Good boy,
And
AJ.
He doesn't know what's happening. But
I'm sorry, what was that last part?
I said I tag him and I drag him in.
Oh, okay, yeah, it's the last
Call it
thing I
in.
heard. Okay,
Yeah.
last
And
thing I heard. Okay, good.
I never wait till I get to the house. But anyway, you tag him, drag him in, and we gut him off site because the last thing you want to do is attract predators, because a high volume of predators, you're gonna fuck the patterns all up.
Yeah.
And the patterns are everything, because if they get off pattern, then you're just fucking throwing shit into the dark, hoping. And that even boils down to not being, going straight in and out of your stand, having a clear trail there so you're not brushing up against everything. It all boils down to even scent that you leave behind.
Yeah.
Because if they smell you, I've been winded before to where I'm sitting in a tree and the wind shifts on me and that wind's blowing in a not optimal direction and there's a deer downwind from me, like a deer that I'm not going to shoot. Say a couple young does come in, I'm not going to shoot them. But I observe them, I watch them, and I don't even move. I don't move a muscle. So there's no way they've seen me. But all of a sudden, that wind's carrying down to them. They'll perk, and they'll look, and they'll point their eyes, and they'll point their ears towards what they're smelling. And they're like, this ain't right. We're getting the fuck out of here. See ya. And they're gone. And, it's just because they winded me. And they caught a scent that they're like, we've smelt this before. We're out. So, so after that, you gut them in a other spot if you have that luxury. And then from there, I'll hang them up and take the hides off of them. And, I don't ever get full neck mounts. I always do the skull mount. So I'll cut the head off and boil the skull. And then I just have skull and antlers. And then take the rest of the meat processor, or if it's cold enough outside, we do all the processing ourselves.
Dude, I would love to kill a deer, and I would like to have a skull mount, like you said, and I'd also like to just have the neck mount where it's stuffed and everything. That would be fucking wicked to hang up in the tattoo shop.
I just want a goddamn freezer full of meat. You
That's a
can
good point,
keep
too.
Everything else.
That's a good point, too. I would love a freezer of meat.
Do you want me to kill you a doe this year? I do have a surplus of does.
Bruh,
We do need to kill a couple does
I
this
don't
year.
want your sympathy meat. No.
Dude, I will give you a tattoo for free if you give me deer meat. All right, that's not to everybody. Sorry.
That's not to everybody. I'm privileged.
Guys, we just talked for an hour and 15 minutes about hunting and about trap shooting. So
And about bear mauling.
about bear mauling.
So if
I'm
you're
pretty
in
proud of those.
Montana,
Bears.
don't fucking pull the bear spray. Pull your fucking gun and shoot that bitch in the face.
Yeah, I'm going down gunning.
For real, sitting in the spot, I felt like I was interviewing you the whole time, AJ.
I'm in.
And this was nice.
Was
I
it
liked
nice?
over here. Yeah, it was cool. I got a little nervous. I picked the wrong camera like a couple times. I was trying to talk to AJ and I was showing myself and I shook my head. I was like,
There's
no,
nobody over
no,
there
it's
but
not
except
good,
for
no.
our sound
But then-
Guys,
there
we have a new
go.
producer. His name's Jacob. Sorry, Evan.
Yeah, look at me. I'm running this shit. I run from under the
Hey,
bleachers.
where's
I can
he
do
at?
this. Hey, look.
He was supposed to come tonight. I told him not to because he had some other stuff to do and he was rushing. And I didn't know how the podcast was going to go, and I didn't really
And
have
then you
time.
showed up, and now
I'm
we're
sorry.
here.
Did you say he's Russian?
No,
He's got to be the shortest Russian in the history of Russia.
the toughest Russian, you mean?
No, let's not get crazy.
Let's not get crazy.
Yeah.
Hey, I'm super pumped to be back.
I am back. I am
Word.
too.
AJ, I'm glad you didn't die.
Yes.
Yeah,
Still
thank
glad.
God.
I think we covered that before, but
We did,
Still
but
glad
it's
you're
It's
alive.
still good to
Still good.
reiterate that I did not die.
hey, quick question on the air while I got you both. Anybody coming to my bachelor party? You going to shotgun season, AJ?
You
Now
had
you-
to plan it on fucking shotgun season.
AJ,
of
we,
all-
we just
there's-
spent about 45 minutes
there's
talking
50
shit on shotgun hunting,
Hey, man.
so
Hey man, there's 52 weeks in a year.
no, I get it. You got to manage the property. But during football season, there's only 17 weeks of football season, so that narrows it down a little bit.
Well, there's only 2 of shotgun
and
season,
I've
so
only
that
been-
really narrows it
And I
down.
don't
Well, I've
know
only
if
been
I'm
married
going because I have a
once.
kid and shit like that.
Well, that's
Okay,
just
so-
not an excuse.
Okay, so I'll book the Airbnb without you guys then. I'll
That's just
maybe we'll
not an
FaceTime.
excuse.
We'll FaceTime each other or something.
I would love to come and get drunk and go to a football game.
So why
Like,
don't you? What's
No.
stopping you?
It's called money and it's called a child.
Whatever.
I'll
You
have
got
one of
this.
those. I'll have one of those one day, and then I'll understand.
But right now,
You
I
will.
don't understand.
Hey, my kid's been sick for the past 2 days. Try dealing with that shit. It's
Mm.
rough. He's been running 105 fever at night. Like, that's fucking rough.
Ew.
Yeah. Like, I feel so bad for him. And it's just like, it's one of those things where it's like, you don't know what to fucking do.
Right.
It's like, he can't tell you, oh, this hurts or this hurts. Okay, fix that. Like, no, it's just like, okay, well,
Just gotta
we're gonna
wait it
try
out.
this,
Figure
and
it
this, and
out.
we're gonna call the doctor and see what they say, and they say they do this, so we do this, and that's that.
Keep waiting.
And then we go to the doctor and we get medicine and we fix him. But it's fucking nerve wracking. But
Hey guys,
that's called being a dad.
let's make like a banana and get the fuck out of here. What do you say?
I'm in.
I like
Somebody sign
bananas.
us off. Talk about fucking Bulletproof Works or something.
Bulletproof Works. Go there.
I haven't seen Aaron in a while. Actually, he usually comes to the gym.
Aaron's actually making
Aaron, where
my
you at,
business
man?
cards right now.
Oh, you won't regret it.
Oh, I
you
know.
won't regret
He's
it.
made all my business cards.
That's right.
So.
You had his business cards before I did.
Boom.
Well, they're
Ballin'.
fantastic.
Yeah.
Hey y'all, thanks for checking us out. And as
Yeah.
always,
Chill the fuck out.
am I sure I want to stop the stream?
Yes.
Are you sure?